Hello and welcome to the section Troubleshooting from Windows. Do not forget that services that run on TCP/IP are not dependent upon the operating system that you use. Thus, you can use Windows 10 platform to troubleshoot firewall issues on the Centos or Linux platforms. This section is connected to the previous sections or labs as we troubleshoot if the port 3128 used by the Squid Proxy Server running on Centos machine is blocked or not. One of the most dependable tools that I've come across in my quarter century of IT experience has to be the nifty free tool from Microsoft called Port Query. It has indeed saved me from many an irate customer who would not believe that a certain port is blocked at the end and because of which the client-end software is not working. To download Port Query, please go to this following link. Now for the steps. Step 1, gathering information. This is the template that you can use. The problem statement, internet is not working on the Windows system. IP address of the client, 192.168.1.10. This is the IP address of the Windows machine. IP address of the system where the proxy server is running, 192.168.1.8. Host name of the system where Squid server is running, Bobby. Is the Squid server active? Yes, the system was down due to hardware failure and the network engineer has started the Squid Proxy Server service. Which port the proxy server is using? On the server 192.168.8, the default port used by Squid Proxy Server service is 3128 and the type of the port is TCP. Step 2. Check connectivity from 192.168.1.10 to the system where proxy server is running, which is 192.168.1.8, which is the IP address of the Centos server using the ping command ping 192.168.1.8. The ping is successful, so we can conclude that there is connectivity. Step 3. The telnet test. While you can telnet to 192.168.1.8 from the Windows machine, you may conclude that the port 23 is not blocked. What do I mean by this? Please remember that port 23 is used by telnet. But you can also use telnet to troubleshoot if Squid's server port is open or not by forcing telnet to use 3128 instead of its default port. The way you do it is telnet space 192.168.1.8 space 3128 and you see the failure message. Connecting to 192.168.1.8 could not open connection to the host on port 3128. Connect failed. You now suspect that there is something wrong with the port 3128 when you use telnet. Using free port tool Port Query, you decide to perform the last test with Port Query because it is the most reliable that is available on the Windows platform among free tools. The Port Query test has 3 modes for reporting the status of the TCP or UDP port, and they are: listening means the port is not blocked by the firewall of the remote machine. Not listening means that no service or daemon is using the port for client requests on the remote machine. Filtered indicates that the port is filtered on the remote machine and needs to be opened by the network or system administrator responsible for the remote machine. So we have started the Port Query tool on the Windows system. This is the graphical interface. The red arrow indicates the IP address of the remote system, that is the Centos system, and which is 192.168.1.8. We select networking in the service to query. Then we manually put the port number 3128. This is the port that is used by the Squid Proxy Server service. The protocol is of course TCP, and then we hit query. As you can see, the result is filtered. And the most likely scenario is, of course, that you have received word from the system administrator responsible for the system Bobby that she has added the port 3128 in the firewalld list, in the exception list, to open it up. And to close the ticket from your end, run the port query software again on the Windows machine and verify that the port is indeed open. As you can see, you enter the old parameters again and you hit query, and now you can see that the mode is listening, which means that the port is successful and the internet can be used from the Windows machine. Thank you.